Ask a woman a question that entertains, and she'll laugh for a moment. Ask a woman a question that touches her desire, and she'll think about you all night. Brother, most men try to impress with stories, achievements, or even physical attraction. But the men who stay in a woman's thoughts, the ones who show up in her dreams, who make her check her phone for no reason, they don't perform. They don't chase. They ask better questions. This video isn't about being slick. It's not about manipulation or memorized pickup lines. It's about mastery, the kind of emotional intelligence that can only come from Stoic presence.
We're diving into 7 powerful questions that don't just attract women. They pull them in on a psychological level, subtle, deep, lasting. Let's begin. 1. If I gave you 5 seconds of freedom, what would you do with me? This question doesn't shout. It whispers. It invites. It teases the edge of her imagination. At first glance, it seems playful, almost harmless. But underneath, it's charged. It's disruptive, in the best way. Here's what most men miss. They either play it too safe, staying inside the comfort zone, trying not to mess up, or they swing too hard, pushing the interaction too far, too fast. But when you sit back, lock eyes, and ask this with calm, grounded curiosity, like you're letting her in on a secret, something shifts. She might laugh. She might look away. She might say something bold or playfully evasive. That's the point, because it's not about the answer. It's about the space the question opens in her mind. You've created a micro-fantasy. She fills it in. Her subconscious starts running a scenario, with you in it. And suddenly you're not just a guy she's talking to, you're a man she's imagining. Even if she avoids the question, even if she answers with a joke like, "I'd push you into traffic," the tension has already been planted. It's suggestive without being sexual. It bypasses her social filter and speaks to her impulse, the part of her that doesn't need logic to want you. And once she feels that, brother, the game changes. 2. What do you think I'd do to you if no one else was watching? This question is an emotional grenade with a silent timer.
You're not describing anything. You're not painting the picture. You're handing her the brush. She doesn't react to your fantasy. She creates one, centered around your presence, your energy. You're letting her become the director of her own mental movie, one where your hands, your gaze, your voice are part of the scene. And that is powerful, because it's not just attraction now. It's ownership. Not you over her, but her over the idea of you. But here's what separates men who get reactions from men who leave impressions. Delivery. You say it slow, controlled, neutral. No grin, no raised eyebrow, no tension. Just a thought, slipping into the space between you. Let the silence stretch. Let her fidget. Let her blink slower. Let her breathe different. Her imagination is now doing more work than your words ever could.
And when she remembers that moment later, in her room, in her car, in her quiet, she won't be replaying what you said. She'll be replaying what she felt. 3. What part of your body responds first when you're turned on? Now we're going deeper. This question isn't about intimacy. It doesn't need to. It's not about what she likes in bed. It's about how her body responds to itself. Most men are terrified of this moment because they don't know how to sit in stillness. They rush it. They overreact. They make it weird. But a man who understands Stoic seduction knows this. You don't bring her into her body with touch. You do it with presence. This question does something wild. It shuts off her thinking brain. Her attention shifts from external to internal. She goes inward. She checks in. Her lips, her chest, her breath, her thighs. Whatever she says or doesn't say doesn't matter. Because what matters is that now you're associated with that physical response. You've just become a part of her arousal blueprint. And that creates something few men ever experience. Psychological linkage. Every time she feels that area activate again, you're there, in her nervous system, branded. And you didn't have to touch her. You didn't even move. You let the silence do the seduction. 4. What's the one thing you're always drawn to in men? This question cuts deeper than charm. It's not just about attraction. It's about pattern recognition. Every woman has one, a type, a style, a repeated emotional experience she finds herself pulled toward. When you ask this, you're not just making conversation. You're making her confront her own programming. She might answer quickly, confidence, humor, intelligence, but you don't move. You don't rush to the next point. You stay still and say, "Really?" Then she exhales, and the real answer comes out. Maybe it's something about emotional safety. Maybe it's something about quiet dominance. Maybe it's a man who makes her feel both understood and overwhelmed. Here's the kicker. If she starts describing you, even in part, you don't celebrate. You stay grounded. Because what turns her on is the man who doesn't need her validation. That's when attraction becomes involuntary. She's not thinking, I want him. She's feeling, why do I want him so badly? And that, brother, is where your power lives. 5. If I knew the real you, what would surprise me most? This question removes the mask, not by force, but by invitation. Most women have been trained to present a version of themselves, charming, polished, light-hearted, but rarely real. When you ask this, gently, intentionally, you're offering her something most men can't. Emotional safety. She pauses. She hesitates. She checks you. Can I really show him? And if your energy is steady, if you're not judging, not rushing, not reacting, something beautiful happens. She shares, maybe a childhood story, maybe a fear, maybe a dream she doesn't tell her friends.
Whatever it is, it's her. And you just became the man who unlocked that without even touching her. That moment, that emotional exposure, that's what makes you unforgettable. Not because you were smooth, but because you were present. 6. Would you rather be understood or devoured? This is not a question. It's a mirror. Every woman at her core holds a dual craving, to be seen emotionally, to be taken physically. You're not asking her to pick one, you're letting her feel both. If she says understood, you nod slowly. You get it. You become the space where she feels safe. She knows she can open around you. If she says devoured, your smile says, good. Now she knows you're not afraid of her fire, you're not intimidated by her wild. And if she says, both, you already know the line. That's where things get interesting. She'll remember that forever, because most men want her surface. You just reached into her contradiction and made her feel like it was okay to be both soft and dangerous. That's intimacy. 7. Do you believe in tension that doesn't need words? This final question doesn't pull anything new from her. It reflects what's already in the air, the eye contact, the pause, the space where both of you are wondering, is this real? Most men ruin that moment. They talk through it. They try to explain the feeling. But you name it. And in doing so, you create permission for it to exist. If she says yes, she's already in it. If she says nothing, even better, because now the tension is alive.
She's not thinking about your height, your clothes, your job. She's feeling you in her chest, her stomach, her breath. That silence that follows your question, that's the loudest seduction of all. Brother, you don't need flashy lines. You don't need fast moves or flirty tricks. You need awareness. You need presence. You need stillness. And you need to understand this truth. A woman's desire doesn't come from what you say, it comes from what you let her feel. These 7 questions aren't about cleverness, they're about mastery. They create emotional space. They awaken feminine depth. They turn simple moments into unforgettable tension. So, if you're ready to stop chasing attention and start becoming the kind of man she can't forget, drop the word magnetic in the comments. Let the world see who's walking the path of quiet power. Let the algorithm know men like us are still out here, refined, present, unshakable. Like, share, subscribe. This is the Stoic path, where attraction begins with presence and ends with impact.